Okay, I'm out here mixing concrete for my storage building. It's going to be 16 by 32, and so far I've used 18 bags of Portland cement, and I've mixed up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 loads of concrete in that little mixer. And I know the mix ratio is 1 concrete, 2 sand, and 3 gravel. And I've been a little bit heavy on the gravel. I've been using a little more gravel than I probably should. I intentionally started out, I laid a 5-foot wide and 32-foot long strip right there. And I was going to do the same thing on this side, but I figured out that I needed more room to get in here and get out of here with my sand and gravel and stuff, so I started going this way. That's 5 foot by 11 foot, 5 foot by 11 foot, and then 5 foot by 11 foot. And I've got 2 bags left, and it takes a little more than 2 bags to do a 5 foot by 11 foot. So this one's going to be 4 foot by 11 foot. And what I've done is I've mixed my concrete right here, dump it onto this, and that way it can slide down into this area, and then I can drag it around. I've got to do a little raking in here before I start here in just a few minutes. But I've never laid concrete before in my life by myself. I did it in high school back in the 80s. We laid a few driveways and that kind of stuff in a class. But other than that, this is my first attempt at concrete, especially doing it by myself and doing this much of it. The little mixer, I've heard people complain about it. I've heard people gripe about it. I have a couple of times, just because I was wanting to finish and I was getting low on materials, put 4 of these buckets, a little over half full of gravel, and then 2 buckets of sand, half full or a little over half full of gravel, and then my concrete in that little mixture. I don't know how much that is, but I know it's more than 3 cubic feet. I can guarantee you that. Plus, of course, your water. My little water well is 16 foot deep. I dug it myself. I built my own little drilling rig and dug it myself. And I put 300 gallons of water in those barrels over there just in case I was to run out of water. And I haven't run out of water. I am really amazed. Yesterday, it was raining really, really hard all day long yesterday, and we have some old carpet up there to keep it from being so muddy, and the carpet was real nasty, and I got my power washer out and power washed all the carpet yesterday, and cleaned it real good, and finally ran out of water. And I waited about 2 hours, and it finally quit raining about 3 o'clock, and I come down here, started mixed concrete till after 7 last night, and never ran out of water after I got down here, because you're just using a gallon or 2 at a time. You know, you're not calling for high demand, so it's able to keep up. And that really amazes me, because I know guys down here that have a lot of problems. Some of you guys may have heard me talk about my little scraper. See that deal down there on the bottom? It's just a flat piece of steel that slides up on the teeth, and it keeps it from digging in. And I was using it to kind of drag, and I got a little dirt mixed in with it, to drag my gravel over here. And then I would scoop up as much as I could, then use my shovel to load it up. The other day when I had this at the house, I ran me a real big bead all the way around here. This part wasn't broke, but all this up here was broke, and it's holding up really, really good. So far, so good. I'm not complaining. And I haven't got to talk to you guys about this. The other day when I was down here, I absolutely mangled that outrigger over there, and I couldn't get it to close up the way. I don't have a cutting torch, and I could not get the gap to close up the way I needed it to. So I took a piece of, not sucker rod, but rod like they use in the oil field, and used it to fill in, and then I welded both sides with 6011, welded it all the way around, and then it actually cracked out in the center, and I welded all that up. And then after I got through doing that, I went over everything with 7018 rods. it's holding up fantastic. A while back I did this side, but the little backhoe is, I can't complain, man. It's really running good, really running good. It's saved me so much work down here. I get me a load. I can get me a big old load in this. I just loaded this trailer almost completely full a while ago. I load this little trailer up, and this little trailer will do a 5 foot by 11 foot wide area, and a little extra. And I had a little bit in it, so I just filled these buckets up just so I wasn't going over there with a wagon with stuff in it. And these are going to be for my 4x4s. They wanted almost $100 a piece for those, and I had some scrap metal at the house and some rod at the house. So I made those. There's 4 on each side, and then 1 on each side of the garage door. And this one, the only reason it's got 1 instead of 2 is because my 4x4 will go there, and then I'll be able to hook my door and all that kind of stuff up. I got me a piece of pipe in the ground there for my electricity, and it's nothing pretty, but I won't be laying in the mud. My doors and windows won't be in the mud. You know, I'll have a nice, dry, clean spot to put everything. And honestly, I probably could have paid a concrete truck to come in here and dump this out, but I was worried about them getting in here. This ground down in here, you know, I've moved so many tree stumps and stuff that, I mean, you can just, you know, I was afraid to have, you know, I don't know how many thousands of pounds a concrete truck would weigh. But the garbage truck, the dump truck, he was able to stay up there where there's lots of roots and stuff like that, and that's been driven on a lot over the years. So I wasn't that worried about him because he was staying up there. But once you get down into this area, that's where I was worried about it. So that's why I decided to do this, and it's a learning experience. You know, I've learned a few things. I learned that I don't like laying concrete. When I get to here, that'd be 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, that'd be 19 feet. And on up to there, it'd be 32 foot, and it's 11 foot wide. So I'll probably get me another 15, just to be on the safe side, 15, because I've got to do 4 5-gallon buckets full of concrete out there. And I've also got to, when I was doing my math, I didn't do it right. I've got to raise those up 3.5 inches, all 4 of those, and I can grab hold of them with a pair of channel locks on each side and wiggle it and get them up, and then I can use my laser level to make sure it's right. And it's rained on and off all week, and this has actually been pretty level. I got a couple of little swales, you know, little low spots right over in there. It's where one pad meets the next pad, but it's done pretty good. And if you haven't ever done this before, it's really hard to get it perfectly smooth just using, you know, hand trowels. I've got 2 and a piece of wood. So what I've been doing is, after I get it as smooth as I can get it, I'll taking that, because it's been raining so much, taking that sheet iron and laying it on that 2x4 so the water can run into here, and that protects it overnight. And then I'll wait, like, say 3 or 4 hours and come back and broom it, and that hides a lot of my flaws, and it makes it look a little bit better. I can't wait to see what it looks like after I'm done and I get it all washed off and swept off. Like right here, I didn't wait quite long enough, and you can see where I drug some rocks up, and there was one spot where I waited almost too long, and it really didn't want to broom out nicely. But, you know, I've got little dings and bings in it. It's just, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm learning this crap as I go along, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming and checking in with me, and I think I might set this up on time lapse, and if I can figure out how, and see what happens. Thanks for checking in. Y'all have a good day.